Hello, children watching us at home. How are you today? How have you been? We are so glad. Today we are going to read to you a very interesting story. Very interesting. I hope you will enjoy it. My name is your narrator, Teacher Celestine, and today I'm glad that I have children from St. Michael Cathedral Parish, Christ the King Community, Sunday School children who are with me to studio today, and they also love stories. So before I read the story, let them just introduce themselves very quick. What's your name?
Mary Ange. My name's Mary Ange. My name's Wanwa.
Good. So today we are going to narrate a very interesting story of this very interesting man. So sit there, relax, and enjoy the story to the end. Wenwa, can you tell us the story we are going to read today is about who?
We're reading the story of Elijah.
Who was Elijah?
Elijah is a prophet.
And who is a prophet?
A prophet is a speaker of God.
Wow. Yes. Our title of the story today is about a man called Elijah. Elijah was a prophet of God, and a prophet is a spokesman of God, who God uses as a messenger. Now, if you recall well, our last story we talked about King Solomon, and we said that God was angry because King Solomon married many wives who came with their different gods. They were not worshipping the one God and one true God. So there was this queen. Her name was Jezebel. She was a very evil queen. And her husband was, do you know her husband's name? He was king?
What was King Ahab?
Yeah, King Ahab and Queen Jezebel. They were doing things that were not right, and God was not happy. Therefore, God told Elijah to go and warn King Ahab and Queen Jezebel that if they don't change, God was going to punish them. And how was God going to punish them? What was going to happen, Wenwa?
God would punish them with no rain.
God told Elijah to go and tell them that if they don't change, there will be famine in their country, in their land. There will not be, rain won't rain, and there will be no food. The fields will dry, they will have nothing in the gardens to eat. But then, let's find out, when Elijah went to King Ahab, when he told King Ahab about what God had told him, King Ahab took it as granted and said, "We shall pray to our God." They had another god. Do you know the name of their god?
Yeah.
What was the name of their god?
Baal.
They had a god called Baal. So they told Elijah that it's okay, we shall just pray to our god Baal, and Baal will give us the rains. And Elijah was not happy, but he said because Queen Jezebel was a very cruel queen, and she hated the prophets. She hated the spokesman of God. Elijah knew his life was in danger, so he had to go away. So he went far, far away, whereby the funniest thing, he was in a near stream so he could drink water. And the funniest thing, God makes a way where there seems to be no way. Do you know who used to feed him? Who used to bring the bread to him? Can any of you know? Tell us. Okay, I'll tell you. It was a crow that used to bring his bread. So he used to eat bread and drink the water from the stream until the stream dried up. Then he had to go to a certain land whereby there was this widow and her son. And they were running out of food. She had only little oil left and little flour, which she said, when Elijah asked her for something to eat, she said, "I just have little oil and little flour, of which I'm planning to make bread today. After we eat, me and my son, we can die." Then Elijah told him, "I'm a man of God," told her, "I'm a man of God, so go and make something for me, and then your jar will never dry up." So the lady just obeyed, went and made some bread for Elijah and brought to him. When she brought it, when she went back, she was surprised. Her oil never dried and her flour was still there. So for many days, everything they wanted were always there. They never lacked anything. And she said, oh, you're a true man of God. Until again one day, her son died. And she was so distressed. She was crying, and Elijah came and asked her, why are you crying? Then she said, my son, my son. Then Elijah said, I'm a true man of God. I'm a prophet and a spokesman of God. I'm going to pray. And Elijah went and prayed for the son, and the son rose up from the dead. Then after some time, Elijah went back. God again instructed Elijah to go back to Ahab. After 3 years of no rain, everything had dried up. There was no food in the land. And when Ahab saw him, Ahab was not happy and said, you are the one who has brought this calamity in our land. Can you go away? Then Elijah said, now I want to show you whose God is more powerful. And Elijah told him, summon all your prophets, the people who worship Baal, and we will do a competition. Now, the prophets of Baal, all of them came. Elijah was there. He was alone. Then he said, bring a bowl, let's set a table, and we ask our gods to bring fire. The Baal prophets prayed until noonday. Nothing happened to their offering. There was no fire. Then Elijah still asked them, where is your God? Is your God sleeping? Or has he gone away for a journey? Try to call him more louder. He started making fun of them, and they were so mad. They started even cutting their bodies, asking their God, to bring fire. But up to the end of the day, nothing happened. So Elijah said, okay, now he set up his altar, put the bowl and the firewood, and even told them, please pour water on the firewood. Imagine, how can a firewood light up while it is wet? But because he knew the power of his God, he told them to pour water. And when he called God, immediately the fire came down and consumed the sacrifice that he had offered. Now you see how powerful our God is. And what about Baal? Nothing happened. So Ahab was furious at his prophets and told the people to kill them. And people started rejoicing and praising the God of Israel. Now after that, Ahab did not even learn, because he even feared Queen Jezebel. So one day again, there was this man called Naboth. Naboth had a very beautiful vineyard, and Ahab wanted it. And they went to him and told him, can you sell this vineyard to us? Then Naboth said, no, this is a family land. I cannot sell it to you. Queen Jezebel was furious, and then went and told king, we have to do something about this man. So they went and accused him that he spoke bad about their God. And remember, what was the name of their God?
Baal.
Baal. The vineyard was for who?
The vineyard was for a family yard.
Yes, Naboth said the vineyard was for his family, and it is a family inheritance, so he cannot give it out. So they accused him falsely and commanded him to be killed. And God was not happy. So God punished Ahab and Queen Jezebel because of their cruelty. And God wasn't happy. And that's how Elijah also got restored, because God told him to go and punish Ahab for killing an innocent person and grabbing something that does not belong to them. So when you do evil, like King Ahab, there is always a consequence. There is always a punishment. And that's how the prophet of God, the true prophet of God, was Elijah. The prophets of Baal were punished and killed because their God refused to work. So you imagine, an idol. They used to worship idols. They could make gods out of use gold to create a calf, create different types of gods. That's what they were worshipping, and that is not God. And as we know, the commandment says that we have only one and true God, and we shall worship him alone and not any other gods. So when they tried to become bad, God had to punish them. And that's why God was using Elijah as a prophet and as a messenger to go and warn them. But they never listened to him. They despised him. Now, they were punished, they died a painful death, and even the flies were eating their bodies, and everything happened to them because they disobeyed God. So when you are there, if you disobey God, God will punish you. Now, towards the end, Wenwa, can you tell us what happened to Elijah?
Elijah was taken to heaven in a flaming chariot.
Wow, Elijah was taken back to heaven in a flaming chariot. That is very good. Because he was a man of God, God had to take him away. Ahab tried to regret all his bad things, but it was too late. He regretted his wickedness and not listening to the spokesman of God, but it was too late. He was punished. So that is the end of our story today. But before we finish, always we have to look for the moral lessons. What can we learn from the story of Elijah? Ange?
So there's only one God and in three divine.
We have only one God in three divine persons, and we should worship only one God. Thank you. Give me 5.
That actions have consequences.
That actions have consequences. Whatever that we do, we shall pay for it. And again, another thing we can learn from the story of Elijah, we are not supposed to disobey. Disobedience is bad, because Queen Jezebel and King Ahab disobeyed God. They were punished severely. And another thing we can learn is it's not good to take other people's property or try to snatch people what they have. That is stealing, and God is not happy, and God will punish anybody who does anything that is evil. Thank you so much for watching PACIS TV. Thank you for watching Children's Story Corner. I'm your host and storyteller, Teacher Celestine. I'm glad that you watched this story. Watch out for the next episode and keep watching PACIS TV. God bless you. Until next time. Thank you.